you start off wide, right? With all these options and choices.
Me, I'm looking for substance. So if you can't come with a substance level of conversation, I have no interest.
Okay.
You black man taking a liking to how my lifestyle is living and how I'm going, man, and you being intrigued, man. That's very humbling for me, man.
So, Christine, where do you reside at right now?
I reside in Nairobi, Kenya.
What does your paranormal experience revolve around? What is it about?
So my paranormal experience revolves around reincarnation, and I've had previous lives, like I've lived in previous lifetimes.
Okay. How many lifetimes do you feel, how many experience have you got from those lifetimes?
At least two different experiences.
Okay. What was like the time frame of these experiences? What, like, was it in the 1800s, 1700s? Can you mark the time for us?
It was in the late 1700s towards the era of 1800.
What would make you think that you know the time frame? What are the markers, the indicators that you would know that that was that time frame?
The fact that the people or my peers in that lifetime dressed in a certain manner, like they had the design of the ones we see in history books.
Okay, can you explain? Can you describe at least one of those outfits that a certain person was wearing? And do you know that person's name?
Yes, this person is called Luises. So Luises, or maybe the English-speaking people would pronounce it Louis the 16th. So Luises lived in around that time frame. So it was past the era of Renaissance, which is rebirth. But this was towards the revolutionary era, where people are revolting. People revolted in the United States. Yes, they were all revolving around. The theme revolves around revolution and some fight towards freedom, or wars that could bring about freedom.
So, were you in the United States or were you in a different country? Were you in Kenya or where were you at this time?
I found myself in France, in Paris.
Okay. Did you live the entire life? That's the thing that I have to ask with a lot of these experiences, because sometimes people have like these visions, right? And they're not an entire timeline. Did you actually, were you born? Were you raised? You know, did you die? How did this end? How did it begin?
It begins that I just find myself in Paris, just normally, but I'm in a different body and I'm a different person. I'm not even a female anymore. I'm a male. I'm a man, and I'm just walking around, and I have a family, like a wife and children, and that kind of experience. So later on, when I go deep into meditation, I was meditating when all this happened. Yes. So I meditated.
Ah.
Yes. And then I found my.
So you meditated.
Yes, and I found myself in these places, like physically, like just there, going about leading a revolution and burning down some houses that belonged to the noble people. And my mom was there, everyone else was there. So it felt at home. It didn't even feel strange. But later on, I grow old and die of old age. And instead of going up to the sky or towards the expanse or the heavens, I find myself freaking out or becoming so scared that I have to come back down and stay there as a spirit, because I find myself now flying about the city of Paris instead of walking. So I no longer have my physical body.
So when you had this experience, you said you were a man.
Yes.
Okay, you probably had male genitalia, a male body.
Yes.
How did that make you feel? Because now you have a wife, you have children, your family has needs. You have to have sexual relationships with the person who you're with. How did that make you feel? I mean, it's a funny question, but it makes me crack up. But how does that work? Because I mean, if you're in somebody else's body and you're controlling it,
Yes.
you're not I take it maybe you're attracted to men, but now you have to be attracted to a woman. So how does that work?
Okay, let me just explain it, because I just had a wife and I felt so authoritative. But even in this lifetime, I normally complain about being a woman. Now, I've always wanted to be a man. So this is something that brings itself up in the theme of this story. So I find myself a man. I'm more powerful and I'm more authoritative, and I can assert my ideas and point of views and something like that. So I really felt in a good position because I was in control. I could tell my wife, "Oh, make those children not speak again because they're making too much noise, and I'm trying to do something else here." So I played a very being male made me feel like special. And even at workplace, I was a male and I was dominant and I was dominating over everyone else. So it made me feel good, but I really didn't get to live the part where we have intimacy and stuff like that. In my life, I'm normally kind of clean or pious. So when such like things come to my space when I'm meditating, I try to shut them down, because I don't even want to imagine myself being with a woman.
Okay. So what I'm taking it from this is you were a mean ass husband. You were authoritative. So you got into the real wrong body. It's a confusing situation. Why didn't you just simply unmeditate? Like, why didn't you just walk away from it? What was the allure to stay in this consciousness?
I wanted to resolve certain issues that have been really bothering me in my life. So I really had to go through with the meditation for me to find the missing parts of the puzzle, because I was really healing myself. So I had to go through whole entire process before I could find the solution or where the problem lay.
How does time work when you were in this other lifetime? How does time work in the present? Because you said you lived an entire life to some degree, like you came to in this body with children and a wife
Mm.
and a society around
Yeah.
you, and then you said you got older and you died and stuff like that. So how does time work in the present? Was it 1 second, or did you wake up like 2 weeks later and you dirty because you haven't even moved in 2 weeks, and now your body's stiff because you've been sitting there, you damn near in rigor mortis because you've been sitting still so long. Stop calling me. How does that work with time when you're in this type of state?
Well, it only took like 3 hours, 3 hours into the meditation for me to leave all these things. So it didn't really like that time span did not impose itself upon the present, the then present time. So it was just like
Okay.
like when you get into a dream, you just dream it and you are all over the place. So it doesn't have any definite time value. It's only that the entire meditation was like 3 hours.
So you had like the lifespan of a mosquito, basically, right? I mean, and I'm talking about like mosquito years. They die very quick. within a few, you know, a few hours, you know, after they do their thing, you know, procreate, and then they pass away. So your life was speeding past while you were living it and you didn't know it, but you're only 3 hours into the present where you're at.
Yes.
How do you know this wasn't a dream?
Uh,
How do you know you just didn't meditate and fall asleep?
because it was a friend of mine was helping me do it, and speaking all these things and asking me just the way you're asking me. But then before starting the whole process, I had to relax and to breathe in and out, and put myself in a meditative state.
What were you dealing with? You said you had some quarrels and some troubles in your life that made you want to connect on this level to go into this deep meditation. Yeah, you don't have to share everything, but just give us like an ideal of what was this challenge that you was dealing with, this difficulty in your life.
It was in my father's death because my dad passed on, and I had to come back from France to Nairobi, Kenya, to do the burial. And after that, I had so many problems. You know, everything was falling apart. I had and we had 3 kids. But the moment I traveled out of the country to come and bury my father, he was already having someone else. And
Oh,
yeah, so there were so many betrayals. And when I came back home and I lived around my family, I kept arguing and fighting with everyone else because everything was so bad, you know. And I grieved my dad differently because I think I was so broken, and I never even for a single second thought that he would pass away, although everyone else would ask that we are all destined to die, but how come you didn't prepare yourself? Well, at times we don't even prepare ourselves for such kind of tragedies. It just comes and you have
yeah.
to deal with it.
Yeah, you know, paranormal
Yes,
experiences, from what I have learned from a lot of people who have been on the show and just in general, like they always revolve around tragic circumstances,
yes.
you know, where we have lost or we're grieving, you know, and that's when you're in that heightened sense of understanding, or you're seeing differently, different perspectives, and then you become more open to the realms that are around us that, you know, scientists have said, yeah, these realms exist. We're trying to quantify them. We're trying to, you know, show what they are, and it's tough to do right now, but we have a quantum realm around us. So I do understand it. And yeah, sorry about your father. My parents passed away as well. And I can tell you right now, that's a hell of a journey when you have to deal with that. And then I'll level with you too. My mother actually passed away, and my wife at the time left me a few months later. So I understand what you're dealing with exactly. That's horrible for you to have to deal with that. Where's that piece of shit at? Where is he at? We need, you know, you left the country to go do something. And then while you're gone, he goes sleeping around and has another woman on you. That's horrible. I'm sorry to hear that for you. That's not a good thing.
No,
Do you get to see the babies?
yes, I get to see them, but I'm just been trying to settle down in Nairobi before I can bring them over because it's
Okay.
hence even the government wants to see that I'm able of taking care of them if the guy is out of my life.
Is he a white man, black man? What color? Just curious.
He's a white man, but I think he's into black women because he had this lady from Rwanda.
Right.
Yes,
Okay. And okay. And then, you know, you already got to deal with that as a black woman because, you know, that it would seem like, you know, as far as in America, at least to some degree,
yes,
you know, black women are not always given the certain opportunities that other people have gotten, and then when you mix in with a white person in this country like France, I can imagine and see like the difficulties that you would have of trying to have your children. This is this you got a horror, you got a paranormal story, but then you have a horror story beyond that. Where you are.
Mhm.
I know you miss your children.
Yeah, yes.
Dearly. I know. Yeah, and that's traumatizing in and of itself.
Mhm.
I'll encourage you to continue to tell your story, and try to connect with groups, because there's a lot of opportunities for people who can help you,
Mhm.
to fix some of these issues that you have. I know when we had our conversation before, you're highly intelligent. I don't see anything crazy about you, and that's one of the things like I have to ask people, because I get some
Mhm.
nuts who hop on this thing who want to share stories, and I can just like, man, this person is absolutely crazy. You don't come across as crazy at all. You come across as a person who is dealing with unfortunate circumstances and you trying to figure it
Yes,
out. And maybe the paranormal side of things is a way that you figure out
yes.
why you're dealing with the problems that you have in reality. For me, when those things happen to me, um, I went into a different mindset as well. I turned to philosophy as a remedy. Philosophy, and I don't know if you are Christian or not, but I also started reading the Book of
Mhm.
James, because it was very powerful. It spoke to me, and I'm not even that religious of a
Mhm.
person, but that Book of James in its entirety spoke to me about the things that we deal with when we encounter perseverance, when we have to persevere through trials and tribulations, and how we can come out on the other side, and actually what and why we are
Mhm.
experiencing those trials. At the end of it, we experience these things in our lives because they create gifts for us, gifts of the spirit, things
Mhm.
that are untangible, that can't be taken away from you.
Mhm.
I think it says, consider it pure joy when you go through trials and tribulations, because that is the testing of your
Mhm.
faith. And once you come to that level where you persevered and you made it through, now you have so much
Mhm.
strength, and that's your gift. So I mean, we all, any other viewers out here, I'm gonna make sure that everybody, this ain't a prayer club around here, but
Mhm.
I want people to be able to pray for
Mhm.
you and give you
Mhm.
strength so that you can continue to move
Mhm.
forward, and in your pursuit of justice.
Yes.
You know,
Mhm.
I don't care. France will give you your babies back.
Yeah.
Okay, you shouldn't have to fight for your children. Hey, Donald Trump, he don't care. I'll call him, and he'll do anything. He'll attack France if they don't give you your babies back. Okay, so yeah. So what can you? So do you have like a good support system in Kenya right now? I know your father passed. Do you have support? You got family, community? How does that work?
Well, I have family, but it's kind of the relationship that I had with my family that pushed me to look for more, to seek for more answers. Because without my father, the family unit started to crumble. And I felt like I was an outsider. It's like I don't even know these people. I haven't even been able to interact with them for the past 10 years. So they treated me as an outsider. Yeah,
Right.
I felt that I didn't belong with them, and that really crushed me. It made me really feel rejected and all that. So what I did is that I started looking for answers and seeking answers, and also became very religious because I pray a lot. And
Yeah.
at times when I pray and I'm shown images, or at times these images or apparitions also just happen, even without me going into the whole process of meditation.
Um, I know that you're dealing with a lot.
Mhm.
And I know that you are looking for answers. And by you hopping online and being willing to share your answers with the
Mhm.
world, people are going to respond positively to what you're dealing with, you know, because it's a lot of black
Mhm.
mothers and a lot of black fathers as
Mhm.
well that are dealing with circumstances similar to yours. I would urge you to seek groups online that can help you to figure these things out. And anybody who's in France, if you hear this young woman's story and you can help her to get this thing resolved, that would be super awesome. That would be great for her. That would be great for all of us, okay? Anytime a black person is going through
Mhm.
something, I feel it. You know, anytime anybody's going through something, I feel it. But particularly, it's
Mhm.
different because I know the perspectives and I know the stories that we deal with. And it's amazing to see that even though you don't live in
Mhm.
America, you're dealing with similar circumstances that a lot of mothers, a lot of fathers are dealing with, the child
Mhm.
custody laws and rights. And oftentimes we're not in the advantageous side of those verdicts and hearings. What's your what's your what do you do for work over there?
Well, I used to be a lecturer at the university, but then that's also another set of problems or issues because the university system in Kenya has a lot of issues. They don't pay lecturers, they don't pay researchers, they don't even have the right amenities for the students and for the members of staff, the lecturers and the teaching staff and all that. They don't even have enough plain papers, for photocopying just simple things that are within the facility. So it's been on for a while, and the lecturers have been striking on and off, trying to negotiate with the government to at least pay them their dues. Some of them even go as far as committing suicide because they just can't deal with the situation.
Wow.
So it's that bad, and that's my profession. So I went into freelance after a while, because you have to pay your bills, you have to do this and that, and the government is not even paying the university lecturers. They keep going on strike and accumulating debt, and that's the way it is. So I just decided to do freelancing so I can write
Mhm.
papers for people. I'm an economist.
Well, I mean, I feel as though you have a you know, you got your head on the right place. Hopefully, by doing this, we can connect you with some people
Mhm.
out there who may want some of your information, may value some of the work that you do. I mean, you're a professor as such. Yeah, I would like to continue this conversation maybe on a different aspect because you know, the internet likes to help people out in jams, you know, and a lot of people out
Mhm.
there will appeal to your
Mhm.
story. You know, it's very genuine, and then it comes with a lot of grief and some issues that you know are unavoidable. And then at the end of it,
Mhm.
you know, you have this paranormal, you have these encounters and these things that you're dealing with, which some people will argue that's a form of that's an extension of something that you're dealing
Mhm.
with right now that is and you're
Mhm.
compensating your mind is compensating for the problems that exist. I'm not a psychologist, you know, I get that. um, so yeah, hopefully we can get you some
Mhm.
resolve. Maybe that's what we're here today to do. I believe in opportunities that come from things, you know, that we don't even put together. So it's a reason why we're having this conversation, you know, and it's a reason why I created this crappy studio that I do my programs out of. Maybe it's to
Okay.
help you out, you know, help you find some resolve for what you're dealing with. What's your name again? Say it one more time for
My
everyone.
name is Christine Ochanda.
Okay. Do you have an email address or a way that people can get a hold of you?
Yes, my email address is cochanda@gmail.com.
So people will be able to get it that way, and I'll try to add like other ways to contact you, like with WhatsApp and stuff like
Yes.
that. Because I think we got another story here, something that we can do good, you know, to actually help a
Yes.
woman reunite with her
Yes.
children and get that asshole in trouble who did you so dirty. How long was y'all
Yeah,
married?
like almost we were together for 4 years, and then we got married for 5. So that was 9 years.
Damn. So what does he do now? Does he? And I'm. You don't have to tell specifics. I'm not trying to get you in trouble or him in
Yes,
trouble from that aspect. But what does he? Does he work? Does he? What does he work? What type of what does he do for a living?
he's an electrician.
And he is remarried. He's remarried now.
I don't think so. He's not a simple person to deal with. He's a bit complicated,
Mm.
and it's very difficult for him to stay with a single human being for such a long time.
Okay. We call that players over here. He's a player. Yeah, he's a player. We got a lot of those over here. What's his first name? I don't want his last name. What's his first name? Just curious.
His first name is
You said
yeah,
Felix?
no, like Philip, but in French they call him Philippe. Yes,
Philip, get your shit together, okay? Come get this. Come help this woman out, Philip. Don't be a butthole, okay? Hopefully Philip can get his mind together, okay, and get and fix his family and stop being an idiot. But yeah, thank you so much for being a part of this show and giving your testimony about your paranormal
yes.
encounter, and as well speaking about the real
Mhm.
life aspect of what you're dealing with. Which a lot of people will draw to you for both sides of your story, but particularly the story about your family and the situation that you are dealing with. So why don't you tell everybody really quick, tell them hi, people across the world will possibly watch this. So why don't you tell them hi, and why don't you send off the show? Why don't you end the show for us today?
My name is Christine Ochanda, and I'm very glad to be in your show today and to talk to you about my paranormal experience that came out as a result of the traumatic event that happened, and that was the passing of my father. When you encounter such paranormal experiences, you can also share them so that you can get the right help at the right place. And thank you so much for being part of this show, Geneva Club.
Yep. And to the viewers out there, thank you for being a part of the Club Geneva show. This is your show, your voice. And if you want to get a hold of Miss Christine, just check out the link below and contact her. Reach out if you have support and advice. Any women out there, reach out to her, talk to her, give her some words of advice. And if you're in France, especially if you're in the legal system, please reach out, get a hold of her, and let's see what we can do to help her out. All right. I want you all to have a great night. Take care. sometimes you set these shows up and you think like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do something about the paranormal, supernatural. What happens is you get another story outside of a story. So here we have a young woman who, had a relationship just like anybody else. You live in France, you have children with a person, you have a relationship, and then boom, your father dies. You go back to Kenya to go settle that, and while you're in Kenya, your relationship falls apart, and then you're trapped in Kenya. And now your children and you are separated by thousands and thousands of miles. And this show is not necessarily about uh, any certain topic. It's about helping people. It's about letting them have a voice. So even though, I allow her to speak about the paranormal things that she's encountered, as you can see, she's tormented by other things.